Warning, the following video contains a lot of spoilers about the 2017 video game Sonic Mania. If you are concerned about spoilers, why on earth are you watching a video about it? Please support the official release and go play the game yourself.
What can I say about Sonic Mania? The pre-order trailer always perfectly summed up how I felt about the premise of a new, true-to-life, two-dimensional Sonic game. A fuzzy memory of a spiky-haired chap with pointy shoes, springing to life and running like he would die if he stopped. Joining him was Tails, and we can't forget Knuckles. Some playful, well-drawn cinematics sketched. Breakneck gameplay, a fast-paced soundtrack encompassing throughout, and then a click that floods colour and vibrance into the world. It was a good day to be a Sonic fan. And come August, wow, did it deliver. While not perfect, it set out to be a new 2D Sonic game, and that is exactly what we got. Sonic and friends are back. Eggman is plotting something nefarious, and his new henchmen, the hard-boiled heavies, are naturally going to play some manner of role in proceedings. Though many outside of the fandom may be unaware, the game was not developed by Sega's Sonic team. It was instead handed over to well-known fan developers, with Sonic Team providing guidance. Programmer Christian Whitehead started things off. Previously having worked for Sega on the mobile phone ports of other classic Sonic games, Whitehead presented a prototype of an original Sonic game under the name Sonic Discovery to series producer Takashi Iizuka. Iizuka gave approval and dubbed the project Sonic Mania. Whitehead was joined by independent game studios Headcanon and Pagoda West Games. The latter also provides fan musician T-Lopes, another well-known name in the fan community from his covers, remixes and music pieces inspired by the Sonic soundtracks. If you haven't heard any of his work before, I would highly recommend visiting his YouTube channel. The man always deserves more attention, some truly smashing music.
But if I were to gush about a particular artist involved on the project, that honour would go to Tyson Hesse, a former Sonic comic cover artist who was brought on as animation director to animate these absolutely stunning cutscenes for the game. Not only that, in the lead up to the release of the DLC, Mania Plus, Hesse worked as animation director again, this time on Sonic Mania Adventures, a YouTube-based miniseries detailing the events after the game's conclusion and introducing the new characters the DLC adds. I would very, very highly recommend you go and watch it. The entire series is roughly 10 minutes, features no dialogue in the slightest, and has some wonderful little slapstick comedy befitting these adorable little fellows. Though if you'd like to give him some recognition outside of these, following the less than positive feedback from the Sonic the Hedgehog film trailer in 2019, Hesse was brought on as lead artist to redesign Sonic, giving us the much more apt design that went on to feature in the film. So thank you for your service, Tyson. While on the subject of visuals, I likely don't need to say much that you can't already see. Each level is colourful and deep, sprites are clean and polished, animation work is wonderful, need I say any more? Options are also available to clean up the rough pixel edges if it's a bit too hard on your eyes, or add CRT sharp and soft filters to the game, just in case your flat screen TV or monitor felt a bit too new to be playing a 2D Sonic game in 2017. Similarly to visuals, there isn't much to say about the music and sound design that isn't immediately recognisable if you've played the classics. T-Lopes has done a fantastic job remastering classic tracks, adding new spins to their second acts, along with brand new pieces of music for the new levels added. Hyper Potions, another fan musician with just the most adorable artwork, provided the music for the trailers and this animated intro cinematic. Perhaps my only criticism to audio design is a product of the design itself. No, we're not talking music anymore, that's all fine. Have a listen to these. These are very iconic sound effects, some of the most recognisable of all time, though sometimes they can get a bit grating in some places. But outside of design, how does the game play? Built using Christian Whitehead's very own retro engine, the physics and handling of the classic characters is built to function near identically to the classic games.
Sonic runs fast, helped with his new drop dash ability. Tails can fly and swim, bypassing annoying areas with the power of backside propulsion. And Knuckles can climb, glide and punch his way through obstacles, sometimes opening up unique areas for him to explore. Mania consists of 12 zones. Zones feature 2 acts, each of which possess their own boss fight at the end, before a level transition to the next zone. Now, I shan't be featuring the bosses too much here, as many are, well, not bad, just not significant enough to talk about. And, well, we don't have all day here. So, without further ado, let's get right to it. We're started off with a nice little flyby of Angel Island, introduced to a little Ruby we'll be seeing a lot of, and finally these sharply dressed boys, only to be unceremoniously dumped into Green Hill, the very first zone of the very first Sonic game. Returning zones such as this will feature a similar structure, with Act 1 a near identical retread of the original, and Act 2 as a mix-up to the formula. Green Hill here serves as a wordless tutorial on the mechanics, such as how the fire shield interacts with the environment, burning bridges, or being extinguished in water. It will also likely be your first experience of the new special stage, as you may run into it practically by mistake in Act 1. Modelled vaguely after Sonic R of all things, these special stages involve you running after a Chaos Emerald. Pick up blue orbs to increase your speed and rings to extend your time within the stage, all while trying not to fall off. Catch up to the Emerald before the time runs out to snag it for yourself. Collect all 7 emeralds and you gain access to Super Sonic, or Super Tails, or Super Knuckles, you get the point. They start easy but grow gruelingly challenging by the 5th or 6th. This game makes you work for Super Sonic, unlike some other games. Up next is Chemical Plant, the second stage of my favourite in the series, Sonic 2. Act 1 is again a retread of the original act, with Act 2 adding in literal chemicals you'll be messing around with to navigate hazards, or even just hurl you into the ceiling from time to time. I would talk about the Act 2 boss, but I'm saving that for later, so here's the Act 1 boss instead. Yep, that is, certainly a it certainly was a boss, I guess. After shooting yourself off down a pipe, you'll burst through a drain cover into Studiopolis, the first of Mania's original zones. Designed with a television studio theme in mind, both acts feature an absolute cavalcade of references amongst them, along with nice stage transport modes and some breakneck speed sections. The best of which is, without a doubt, the introduction to the Act 1 boss, the very first of the hard-boiled heavies, and their absolutely phenomenal boss music. How can you not get pumped from that introduction?
Up next is Flying Battery, returning from Sonic & Knuckles. I don't have much to say about it, it's definitely still Flying Battery. Admittedly, I'm not a huge fan of this level. These are the huge fans of this level, and I'm not a huge fan of them either. Far too many blind leaps of faith for my liking.
From Flying Battery, we find ourselves in another original zone for Mania, Press Garden. And good lord is this place very satisfying to look at. Act 1 takes place within a newsprinters with little newspapers flying past in the background, no doubt the press part of the namesake, while Act 2 transitions into a gorgeous blossom garden almost entirely outdoors. Ice will throw you around the second act rather uncontrollably in some sections, but at least prepares you for your next bout with a hard-boiled heavy. This chap looks like he's having such a blast jumping around I almost feel bad ruining his fun. But, you know, almost. After finishing that, however, Eggman is here to present his little Ruby again, just before hurling you into the past with it. This puts you in Stardust Speedway, returning from Sonic CD, the zone that truly makes you ask, can you get motion sickness from playing a Sonic game? The verdict is yes if these bloody springs are involved. Act 1 is a reimagining of the original's past stage, while Act 2 is based heavily on the iconic future stage. I seem to be having some kind of love affair with the Act 2 bosses thus far, but in my defence here, it's Metal Sonic.
The iconic and, dare I say, underappreciated of Eggman's creations. He will always hold a special place in my heart, even though it's evident he does not hold the same sentiment for me.
We couldn't have a roundup of iconic classic Sonic stages without adding in one of the many obnoxious water levels. This time the vote went to Hydro City from Sonic 3. Lots of fast dips and water slides, references to games such as Sonic 2 on the Game Gear of all things, and a remix of the classic formula shown thus far, with Act 1 being the full remake this time, while Act 2 is an attempt at a faithful recreation.
Mirage Saloon is next, another Mania exclusive zone, though not entirely original. It draws inspiration from an unfinished desert level originally meant for Sonic 2, mixed with a Grand Canyon aesthetic. Regardless of who you're playing as here, Knuckles is going to get thrown off the tornado. If that wasn't you, congratulations, you're now playing Sky Chase Zone from Sonic 2 before transitioning to a steam train. If that was you, enjoy an entirely different Act 1 with a different boss to boot. At the end of Act 2, you are shot, quite literally, off to the next zone, Oil Ocean, returning from Sonic 2. The fire shield shows its worth here again, setting pools of oil on fire, or even the entire level if you're unfortunate enough to fall into the namesake's Oil Ocean at the bottom. Act 1's boss takes this a step further, leaving the entire complex on fire for Act 2. Once you're done there, you will leave Oil Ocean via a flying submarine. Let's just not question that, before crashing it into Lava Reef Zone, returning from Sonic and Knuckles. Well, that was a waste. It definitely lives up to the name, there is a lot of lava. Act 2 changes visually, now going with a cool blue, serving as a mashup of Lava Reef Zone and Quartz Quadrant from Sonic CD, truly a remix within a remix. There is a focus on balancing atop the lava this time, and lots of angry crushing. Not many of Eggman's robots make me feel bad for destroying them, but I will make an exception for this poor fellow. Ripperoni Pink Dinosaur. Similar to Mirage Saloon, Knuckles will have a slightly different experience, namely in fighting a different boss to the other characters, rescuing the Master Emerald from its, 20th kidnapping now? Though, regardless of which Act 2 boss you fight, your next destination will always be the same, Metallic Madness returning from Sonic CD. Act 1 will see you venturing into the stage background, and Act 2 brings back the size beam, an amusing gimmick from the original zone. Because truly what we were missing thus far was modern endorsement for the highly demanded spin-off series Sonic Babies. Though hopefully that would feature a tiny Amy less likely to explode on contact. Thanks, Tails! And to round off the zones, we finally have Titanic Monarch. Set around and later inside the titular Monarch, there are many gameplay tropes here that originate from other Sonic games, such as magnetic plasma spheres and bumper walls that will catapult you around in a dizzying display. Including these chaps who seem all too happy to die with dignity rather than just stop. What was even the function of this ride? Act 2 features perhaps the most unique act in any of the game, with a brief foray into an open world hub. Complete the 4 sections in whatever order you like, and you'll eventually be pushed into the final boss. Deal with Eggman one last time, and boom, Sonic Mania completed. Now, I know those die-hard Sonic fans are clamouring to tell me that this isn't the end of the game, and I hear you, I'm well aware. Collecting all 7 Chaos Emeralds as Sonic and then finishing the final boss will instead transport you to the final zone, Egg Reverie. But this is not a zone, not really, it's a boss arena, and much as this video has been spoiler central, I think I would rather not show that. If you're really that interested in the secret final boss, I'd recommend playing it yourself or seeing it elsewhere. Lord knows every other Mania video features it quite prominently. This gives us a total of 12 zones, with only 4 being brand new. Technically 5 if you count Egg Reverie, I don't. It is an unfortunate divide between new and old that I was hoping would be skewed more into new territory. More recent entries in the Sonic series seem to focus quite heavily on nostalgia as it is. And for good reason, I suppose. Sonic is turning 30 this year after all. There's a lot to reference there. Of course, it wouldn't be a Sonic Mania video without talking about some of the references to that lengthy history hidden within the game.
These are extensive and sometimes reference very obscure specific parts of the game series' history, the fandom, even other Sega properties. For the sake of constraint, here are a few in no particular order that I found amusing or fascinating. Knuckles, in his own right, has received quite the meme treatment over the years. But his most iconic, I feel, is And Knuckles. Just slap Knuckles in anything, and it kind of works. The Mania developers wanted to get in on the action and included it as an unlockable game mode. Activating this will make Knuckles your companion. Want to smooth over that rivalry with Sonic? Give him his own Knuckles. Does Tails look lonely? Now he has Knuckles. Does Knuckles look lonely? Now he has another Knuckles. Everyone gets a Knuckles. Completing the entire of the main game with the Knuckles twins, and you get treated to a unique Knuckles and Knuckles ending. Studiopolis' own features these rather adorable Sega Sonic popcorn shops sprinkled throughout Act 1. Believe it or not, this is a reference to an actual arcade machine that existed in Japan in 1993. Part arcade game, part snack dispenser, you choose a flavour of salted, butter or curry for some reason, and proceed to play a little mini-game to help Sonic and Tails make popcorn before getting a bag of it dispensed for your efforts. There's no way to lose, you win regardless, effectively just a means of time wasting while the popcorn is cooked, but an interesting gimmick nevertheless. Chemical Plant Act 2's boss is just Mean Bean Machine. There is no special gimmick to it, it is literally another game from the series past stuffed in as a boss fight against Eggman. It's wonderful, silly, unexpected, and yet feels very fitting for Chemical Plant. Metallic Madness Zone's Act 2 boss will deploy miniatures of several former Sonic bosses at you during the fight. One of these seems a visual hybrid of Amy Rose's original appearance in Sonic CD. Cute. And the utterly horrifying looking Tails doll playable character from Sonic R. Not so cute. Made worse only by its desire to hug you until it explodes. No thanks, you can take that, Tails. There are so many more. I could be here all day. Even picking a handful is difficult. The following year, Mania gained Mania Plus, a huge collection of additions to the base game, including new characters, new game modes, and tweaks to what we already had. Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel join the roster, with Mighty being impervious to spikes and projectiles when in a ball, along with smashing down onto objects and enemies to destroy them, and Ray, who is a flying squirrel. One guess to what he does. If you guessed Glide, good job! But not quite as Knuckles does, who travels in a rather straight line. You can pitch Ray's direction up and down to gather momentum and shoot yourself up to places nobody else can go. It will take some time to master, but it is a lot of fun if you can. Both of these playful little chaps are able to be played in Mania mode and the brand new Encore and competitive modes. Encore mode mixes up the formula further, serving as an unofficial New Game Plus. All levels are remixed, making them slightly harder and visually changed with a new colour palette, such as Sunset Hill, Cool Blue Power Plant. You get the point. But the true challenge comes with the new party system. Lives have been completely removed. Instead, you'll play as the entire team of 5. Starting off with Sonic all by himself, you start on Angel Island as a one-act zone, before choosing to rescue either Mighty or Ray. I chose Mighty, who joined me as a buddy, and Ray turned out to be a fake. I suppose I'll rescue the real Ray later. You can switch between your buddy at your leisure, giving you 2 abilities to use on the fly. If you die, you'll just pick up as somebody else, with a reserve character taking up the buddy slot. Gain additional characters via item boxes or the new special stage, this little pinball machine. I am not a fan of the physics in here. For some reason, these flippers never behave how I think they're going to. Which you'd think odd, so many Sonic games have featured pinball mechanics before. There was even a Sonic Pinball. There's even pinball mechanics in Sonic Mania. Game overs instead occur by losing the entire party. Outside of Encore mode, there is also competitive multiplayer now. Hello.
Oh, Fancy Man makes it without the button.
Knuckles, win!
What? He got here last!
Choose a character, set a certain number of wins, change up item boxes, or just leave them as you remember them, and blast your way through against up to 3 friends locally. Or cheat as I did and use Steam's Play Together to import a pair of Americans.
Careful. That's where I died.
Oh, I was right there where you were.
Oh my god.
Not all levels are featured, unfortunately, though understandably some stages just would not work with several players. But that won't stop you from enjoying tormenting your friends, underscored by the most enthusiastic narrator we've seen since Sonic Colors.
Win! It's a draw!
Wowee.
That was great. That was a great little announcement.
Now, would I recommend Sonic Mania? If side-scrolling platformers take your interest, or if classic Sonic just scratches a nostalgic itch, I would highly recommend. It's not a perfect game. As originally stated, it set out to be a new 2D Sonic game and it achieves that very well. What I find myself leaving the experience wanting is more of the new additions. Seeing old levels is nice, certainly, but I feel it sells itself short as a true sequel we all wanted it to be to the originals if more than half of the featured levels are from those games. And the new levels are very unique and refreshing to play. Titanic Monarch might look like almost every other final stage in Sonic's history, but the ominous music playing in Act 2 is just menacing. Very restrained for Sonic music, I love it. The special stage? I would play that standalone if I were able to play with friends, even against CPU enemies like you can with Mean Bean Machine. The potential of it is very pleasing. Heck, make Sonic R2, I would pay for that. Competitive mode itself screams for a full race mode against your friends. Imagine an official Sonic game where you could race against opponents split screen on who could ruin Eggman's plans first.
Go!
Oh my gosh, we all finished.
Yeah, well,
Good job, Oz.
Sonic wins!
Much as online multiplayer would be nice, if the price to pay for these requests leaves it as a local play only, you would have one hell of a fun party game on your hands. Perhaps next time we can see a focus on new content. Well, here's hoping.
Miles out.
Oh, good lord.
Fire, no.
Oh, hello.